Gina, welcome to the program. You're looking at some similarities in the S&P now and back in the late 90s. So what is it that you're seeing?
Thanks, Courtney, for having me on. First off, in terms of the late 90s, I just think that there are some echoes or some interesting comparisons that we like to sort of follow. And the two that are really important right now are right before the 98 crisis in stocks and the broader financial market crisis, we did have a 60% decline in oil prices and a roughly 30% increase in the dollar. That's about what we had over the last year. So it's no wonder the S&P 500 is going through a pretty significant correction in response to those massive disruptions in currency and commodity markets. The theme plays itself out also through sectors. In the 98 experience, the energy sector was the leading indicator of weakness for the broader market. Right until the market peaked, sectors like healthcare and discretionary were strong leaders in that market, where energy had already turned over. Once again, we saw that happen in 2015. Energy turned over early. Healthcare and discretionary sort of led the market all year, and then finally started to turn over as the market weakened. So we see a lot of similarities. You know, history never repeats itself precisely. Certainly financial market conditions today are vary substantially from those in 1998. But I think there are a couple of key takeaways. This is a commodity-led crisis. This is an emerging market-centric crisis. I think that the developed economy is chugging along just fine, very similar to the experience we had in the late 1990s.
And so we use all of this knowledge, of course, to try to make money from the market, both the economic, the macro, and the micro. So, Gina, what sectors do you think it is that could lead the market higher, potentially as you look at what happened in the 90s or in another theory?
Yeah, there's another rhyme there, and that was in the 1990s, the sectors that led out of the market correction were the same sectors that showed leadership into the market correction. So those sectors in the late 1990s were, of course, discretionary, tech, telecom, healthcare. Those sectors today are, again, discretionary and healthcare in particular. Tech certainly has had a rough summer, but was leading into the market peak in the summer as well. So we're sticking with the winners. We're not rotating into some of the more beaten down names just yet. I think your best course of action in the face of Fed tightening is to really focus on revenue and earnings growers in the S&P 500 as your best opportunities. And right now, we see the best prospects for growth still in these structural outperformers, healthcare, discretionary, and technology.
Gina, I understand you had been quite bearish, but just to wrap it up, where do you see the S&P at the end of the year? Do you have a target?
I do not produce a 12/31, target of any description, but I do produce a 12-month outlook or 12-month fair value estimate for the S&P 500, and we have stocks climbing from here to somewhere around 2,200 over the next 12 months.